The story of Pedro Alonso. Pedro Alonso was born on June 21, 1971, in Vigo, Galicia, Spain. His full name is Pedro González Alonso, although most people around the world know him simply as Pedro Alonso. He grew up in the northwestern region of Spain, an area known for its strong culture, rainy weather, and connection to the sea. Since he was young, Pedro was described as imaginative, artistic, and very curious about life. Unlike many actors who always dreamed specifically about fame, Pedro seemed more interested in creativity, storytelling, art, and understanding human emotions. During his youth, he developed interests in literature, philosophy, painting, and theater. He later studied dramatic arts at the Royal School of Dramatic Art in Madrid and also trained in theater schools in Spain. Those years helped him develop the intense and emotional acting style that would later make him famous. Before becoming internationally recognized, Pedro spent many years working mainly in Spanish television, theater, and film productions. Like many actors, his early career was not glamorous. He worked consistently for years without worldwide fame, slowly building experience and respect inside the Spanish entertainment industry. People who worked with him during that period often described him as thoughtful, intelligent, and deeply committed to his roles. Even before becoming globally famous, Pedro already had a reputation for being an actor who liked exploring the psychology of his characters instead of simply memorizing lines. One interesting thing about Pedro Alonso is that he has always been very artistic outside acting as well. He enjoys writing, painting, photography, and creative expression in different forms. In interviews, he often speaks in a reflective and philosophical way, which surprises many people who only know him because of his famous television character. During the 1990s and early 2000s, Pedro appeared in several Spanish television series and films, gradually becoming more recognizable in Spain. One of the productions that helped increase his popularity was the series Respixas, where he played a doctor named Rafael. Over the years, he continued participating in different projects, showing versatility as an actor. Unlike some performers who become associated with only one type of role, Pedro experimented with drama, thriller, romance, and mystery productions. He also worked in theater, which many actors consider one of the most difficult forms of acting because performances happen live in front of audiences. Theater helped Pedro become emotionally expressive and confident in long scenes. Even though he was respected in Spain, international audiences still did not know much about him. That changed completely years later with a project that nobody expected would become a worldwide phenomenon. In 2017, Pedro Alonso became internationally famous after playing Andrés Stefanolosa, better known as Berlin, in the Netflix series Money Heist, originally called La Casa de Papel in Spanish. At first, the show aired on Spanish television and achieved moderate success, but after Netflix acquired it, the series exploded globally and became one of the most watched non-English productions in the world. Suddenly, Pedro Alonso became recognized in dozens of countries almost overnight. Fans were fascinated by Berlin because he was charismatic, intelligent, elegant, unpredictable, and emotionally complex at the same time. Berlin quickly became one of the most talked about characters in the series. Even though the character often behaved selfishly, manipulatively, and sometimes cruelly, many viewers still found him strangely captivating. Part of that was because of Pedro Alonso's performance. He gave Berlin confidence, humor, sophistication, emotional vulnerability, and unpredictability all at once. Pedro has explained in interviews that he never wanted to play Berlin as a simple villain. Instead, he tried to understand the humanity, fears, loneliness, and contradictions inside the character. Many fans especially loved Berlin's calm voice, poetic way of speaking, and dramatic personality. One interesting detail is that Pedro himself contributed ideas to the development of the character, including certain emotional and philosophical aspects. During filming, he developed close friendships with several cast members, including Álvaro Mort, who played the professor. Fans of the show often enjoyed watching interviews with the cast because Pedro usually brought humor, deep conversations, and unexpected reflections into discussions. Despite Berlin dying in the second season of the series, the character remained so popular that the writers continued including him in flashbacks throughout later seasons. This surprised many viewers because characters who die early in shows rarely continue having such an important presence. Pedro later admitted that he himself was shocked by how deeply audiences connected with Berlin. In many countries, fans started copying Berlin's style, quotes, and attitude. Some people even considered him the most memorable character in the entire series, despite his controversial behavior. Outside the success of Money Heist, Pedro Alonso's personal life has remained relatively private compared to many celebrities. He has a daughter named Uriel, whom he has mentioned in interviews with affection and pride. Pedro usually avoids turning his family life into constant public content, preferring to keep certain parts of his personal world away from social media and press attention. However, he has occasionally spoken about how fatherhood changed him emotionally and helped him understand life differently. Another interesting aspect of Pedro's personality is his strong interest in spirituality, self-reflection, and personal growth. In interviews, he sometimes talks about meditation, emotional awareness, creativity, and the importance of understanding oneself. This reflective side of him contrasts with the intense and sometimes chaotic energy of Berlin, which many fans find fascinating. Pedro has also shown interest in traveling and discovering different cultures. After the international success of Money Heist, he traveled to many countries for promotions, interviews, conventions, and fan events. Fans often describe him as charismatic, intelligent, and surprisingly warm in real life. Many people expect him to behave exactly like Berlin, but interviews usually show a calmer, more thoughtful, and more philosophical personality. He is also known for having a distinctive fashion style, often wearing elegant clothing, rings, necklaces, and artistic outfits that reflect his creative personality. Another thing that made Pedro Alonso stand out internationally was his ability to speak emotionally in interviews. While some actors focus mainly on promoting projects, Pedro often discusses deeper themes such as fear, identity, love, ego, creativity, and human emotions. This made many fans become interested not only in his acting, but also in the way he thinks. Some people online even describe his interviews as inspirational or therapeutic because of how reflective he can be. In addition to acting, Pedro has worked on artistic and literary projects. He co-wrote a book called Libro de Filippo with Tatiana Georgievich, showing another side of his creativity outside television. He also enjoys painting and visual art, and he has shared some of his artwork publicly. Many fans are surprised to discover how artistic he is beyond acting because Berlin's strong personality sometimes overshadows Pedro's real-life interests. In 2023, Netflix released a spin-off series focused entirely on Berlin. The show allowed Pedro Alonso to explore the character even more deeply and gave audiences the opportunity to see new sides of Berlin's personality and past. Fans were extremely excited because Berlin had remained one of the most beloved characters from Money Heist for years. The spin-off mixed crime, romance, comedy, and emotional moments, and Pedro once again became the center of attention worldwide. For many viewers, it confirmed that much of Berlin's popularity came directly from Pedro Alonso's unique performance and charisma. Today, Pedro Alonso is considered one of the most internationally recognized Spanish actors of recent years. His journey from a thoughtful young artist in Galicia to a global Netflix star shows how persistence, creativity, and originality can slowly build an extraordinary career.
Remember to like, subscribe, and write in the comments, "Hi Sally, I like your videos so I can give you a shout out."